Welcome to English Omy, out of the podcast that helps you speak English naturally, step by step, every day. I'm Omy, your English learning buddy. Let's begin today's journey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Omy. I'm your host, Omy, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have you join me today for another exciting English learning journey. Whether you're sipping your morning coffee, taking a peaceful walk, or just relaxing after a long day, you've come to exactly the right place. After 4 decades of teaching English to students from every corner of the world, I've witnessed one challenge that stops learners more than any grammar rule or vocabulary list: overthinking. Today, we're going to tackle this head-on and discover how you can speak English naturally, confidently, and without that mental paralysis that freezes so many of us. Picture this scenario. You're at your favorite coffee shop. The barista smiles warmly and asks, "What can I get started for you today?" Suddenly, your mind races. Should I say, "I want," or "I would like"? Is it a coffee or some coffee? Before you know it, you're pointing at the menu board, feeling frustrated because you know exactly what you want to say, but the words just won't come out naturally. Sound familiar? If you've nodded your head even once during that story, then you're in for a treat today. We're going to explore why our brains sometimes work against us when speaking English, and more importantly, I'm going to share practical strategies that will help you break free from the overthinking trap once and for all. Let me share something that might surprise you. Overthinking while speaking English is actually a sign that you care deeply about communicating well. It shows you're a conscientious learner who wants to get things right. However, when this desire for perfection becomes overwhelming, it can completely paralyze your speaking ability. Think about how a young child learns to speak their native language. They don't pause mid-sentence to analyze verb tenses or worry about grammatical accuracy. They simply express their thoughts, make mistakes, get understood, and gradually improve through practice and natural interaction. Yet as adult language learners, we often approach speaking English like we're taking a written exam, carefully constructing each sentence in our minds before daring to speak. Here's what I've observed in my years of teaching. Students who worry less about perfection and focus more on communication consistently make faster progress than those who analyze every word before speaking. When you overthink, you're essentially asking your brain to perform 2 demanding tasks simultaneously: formulating your thoughts and monitoring your language accuracy. This cognitive overload often results in speaking anxiety and hesitation. The truth is, even native English speakers make grammatical errors, use filler words like and sometimes struggle to find the perfect word. The difference is, they don't let these imperfections stop them from communicating. They trust that their message will come across, even if their delivery isn't flawless. Throughout my teaching career, I've identified 3 primary obstacles that prevent students from speaking English naturally. Understanding these traps is the first step toward overcoming them. The first trap is mental translation. That habit of converting every thought from your native language into English word by word. Imagine Maria, a bright student from Mexico trying to buy groceries. When the cashier asks about her weekend, Maria thinks in Spanish, "Fui al cine con mis amigos," then attempts to translate, "I went to the cinema with my friends." While she struggles with this translation process, the conversation moves on, leaving her feeling frustrated and excluded. The second trap is grammar obsession, the relentless pursuit of grammatical perfection that stops you mid-sentence. I remember working with Ahmed, an engineer who knew English grammar rules better than many native speakers. Yet, in conversations, he would freeze while debating whether to use present perfect or simple past, missing opportunities to share his brilliant ideas simply because he couldn't decide on the correct tense. The third trap is fear of judgment. That voice in your head warning you that people will laugh at your accent or criticize your mistakes. This fear is particularly cruel because it's based on assumptions rather than reality. In my experience, most people are incredibly patient and appreciative when someone makes the effort to communicate in their language. These traps work together, creating a cycle where overthinking leads to hesitation, hesitation leads to missed opportunities, and missed opportunities reinforce the belief that speaking English is difficult and scary. Now that we understand what holds us back, let's focus on practical solutions that will transform your speaking confidence. These strategies have worked for thousands of my students over the years, and they'll work for you too. First, to overcome mental translation, start thinking directly in English for simple daily activities. Look around your room right now and name 5 objects in English: lamp, book, window, cup, phone. Practice describing your actions as you do them. I'm drinking water. I'm checking my phone. I'm listening to Omy's podcast. This trains your brain to bypass your native language and think directly in English. To defeat grammar obsession, embrace what I call communication first, perfection later. Your primary goal in any conversation should be to share your message, not to demonstrate grammatical expertise. When you catch yourself hesitating over grammar, ask yourself, will my meaning be clear? If the answer is yes, speak confidently and refine your accuracy through continued practice. For conquering fear of judgment, remember that most people focus on understanding your message, not analyzing your mistakes. Practice positive self-talk before speaking situations. Instead of thinking, what if I make a mistake? Try, I have something valuable to share and people want to understand me. Here's a powerful technique I call the 5-second rule. When you have something to say, count to 5 and then speak, regardless of whether you've found the perfect words. This prevents overthinking and builds confidence through action. Remember, fluency isn't about speaking perfectly. It's about speaking naturally and being understood. Before we wrap up today's episode, I have a challenge that will immediately begin transforming your English-speaking confidence. For the next week, I want you to implement the speak first, think later approach in 3 daily situations. First, when ordering food or drinks, don't rehearse your order in your mind. Simply approach the counter and speak naturally. Second, when greeting colleagues or classmates, share one genuine comment about your day without planning every word. Third, when someone asks you a question, take a breath and respond within those magical 5 seconds we discussed. Remember, every time you choose to speak despite feeling nervous, you're building confidence muscles that will serve you for life. Your English doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful and effective. I'd love to hear about your speaking breakthroughs. Share your experiences in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to English Omy for more practical English learning strategies. If today's episode helped you, Please share it with a friend who might be struggling with speaking confidence. Until next time, keep speaking, keep learning, and remember, your voice matters, even if it's not perfect yet. This is Omy, signing off from English Omy. Speak boldly, my friends.
Thanks for spending time with me on English Omy today. Remember, small steps every day lead to big progress. If you like this episode, follow the podcast and share it with a friend.